for Georgia to the run rule victory. And so we'll go back to the circle here this afternoon for Georgia, and it'll be the right-hander Addison Fisher, the sophomore from Bend, Oregon, going to get to work for Georgia.
Looking forward to this matchup today. And this outing from Addison Fisher, we're going to see her throwing high 70s. She's going to have a rise ball, a changeup, a really dirty drop ball that she's been working on consistently, moving at different levels throughout the zone to really keep the batters off balance.
Same top three of the lineup here this afternoon for Missouri. Addie Waits, Stefania Abriscano, and Abby Hay will see the plate here in the first inning. And two after the top of the hour, Addie Waits takes a look at a strike from Addison Fisher. Grounded foul. That one back to the first baseman, Gabby Novickus. Waits, a freshman. We mentioned this is the youngest team in the SEC.
Yeah, because they are such a young team, we've seen a lot of their freshmen actually step up as leaders on the field, whereas typically you'll see those veteran players, those juniors or seniors stepping up in that position.
1-2 is lifted foul back out of play. And the count remains 1-2. Only adjustments in this Missouri lineup will be at the bottom end of the lineup, just rearranging of how they hit last night. Abby Carr, Sydney Forrester, Claire Cahalan will bat 4, 5, and 6. Then it's Sophie Smith, Madison Updegrove, and Kaylee Linger. Couple of foul balls here with 2 strikes before the high ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. This one is popped to center. Ray travels in, and that'll be the first out of the inning defensively here for Georgia. Goodwin, Ray, and Gordon left to right across the Georgia outfield this afternoon. Lindemuth, Digby, Smith, Novickus left to right across the infield. As Georgia's student spike squad out there in center field, going to get a tan this afternoon.
Yeah, let's go. We love seeing the spike squad out there.
High in the mid-80s this afternoon here in Athens, and there is not a cloud in the sky. It is an absolutely beautiful afternoon. Stefania Abriscano, the catcher. Even here, 1-1, junior from Smithtown, New York. Batting .350 here in the junior campaign. Gets jammed a little bit there on that one, pulling it foul, 1-2. Her numbers on the season. And a good crowd has filed into Jack Turner Stadium for the second game of this 3-game set. Not too many places you'd rather be on a nice Saturday afternoon. 2-2 in there for a called strike 3. Jose Chaparro calling our balls and strikes here this afternoon, pulls the string. 2 down.
Addison Fisher with 2 quick outs in this inning. There's that beautiful drop ball that I was mentioning earlier that she's able to work on various levels. It acts almost as different pitches because she's able to work it at different levels.
Here's Abby Hay. I think tried to hold back on that one, but goes around 1-1.
Yeah, that absolutely filthy changeup. It's going to come out in that same tunnel that drop ball is going to. but obviously a lot slower, so it keeps the batter off balance a little bit.
Count 2-1 here to the first baseman, Hay, 328 on the season. Hay, a junior and a local product there in Columbia. Counts evened up here on her, 2-2. Walking a strikeout looking last night for the first baseman. On the outside half, just missing. And Addison Fisher's had a couple really borderline pitches there. And we talked about this a little bit last night. It felt like tight zone for both teams. And it felt like when the pitchers started trying to find the outer edges of the zone, they struggled a little bit more. Here's a bouncer to second, fielded cleanly over to first in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Addison Fisher. Right-hander Marissa McCann, the junior from Surprise, Arizona, 5'10", will get the start in the circle this afternoon for Missouri. A 3.77 ERA, 6-8 on the season. This will be start number 18 on the year for the junior.
Yeah, Marissa McCann, one of their pitchers that was their Friday, Sunday starter and now worked into this Saturday starting slot. She's going to be throwing upper 60s. She's got a curve that she can work on both sides of the plate, a rise, a drop. But key for her is if she can get her change working, that is when she is playing her best game.
Offensively for Georgia, Jaden Goodwin, Sarah Gordon, Tyler Ellison. Exact same lineup from last night. Would you score 8 runs on Friday night in the SEC? I'd probably keep the same group out there as well. And Jane Goodwin bunts one foul right off the bat here, 0-1.
One of the reasons that she is so powerful in this leadoff spot is because she can play a hard ball or she can play that small ball and drop a bunt so quickly.
That one right to Hay at first base. She'll make a couple steps to the bag and get the out. And a quick out here for Marissa McCann and this Missouri defense. That'll bring up Sarah Gordon. Tyler Ellison also due up here in this first inning. Cahalan, Linger, and Forrester left to right in the outfield for Mizzou this afternoon. Waits up to Grove Smith and Hay over there at first base. You go left to right here on the infield with Abrascado catching the balls and strikes. And Gordon watches a ball. 1-1 the count. 448 average here for the season. Leads the team in average. Hits, runs, doubles, and slugging percentage. He's got 14 multi-hit games here on the season and opened the year on a 14-game hit streak.
Yeah, she's had some pop for this Bulldogs offense for sure.
Senior, a transfer from Louisville. Count evens up 2-2 here on her. Lines that one foul into the net.
You mentioned that Sarah Gordon transfer in her sophomore year. Her sophomore year, not her best year. Obviously, there's a little transition period, but she has been someone who's really settled in and been such an anchor, I guess, for the Georgia Bulldogs offense and defense. She's able to move around for defense and been just really strong for the offense.
Good little battle right here. She's fouled a couple off now with 2 strikes. To shallow right. And coming on and making the catch is Forrester. in the lineup this afternoon. Carr listed as the right fielder and Forster the DP. And like yesterday, Missouri's going to flip those two pregame, give you a little bit more versatility defensively in the lineup.
Yeah, it sure does. And I mean, if things goes right, if McCann kind of loses some steam, we're likely to see Carr in the circle as well. So
1-0 the count here to Tyler Ellison, the designated player. .431 average on the season, senior from McDonough. Hits .400 here in conference play to this point. Georgia entering the day 8-5 in the SEC, 30-10 overall. Lost last night, dropped Missouri to .500 on the year at 21-21. Now 5-8 in the SEC. Ellison last night, a walk, a ground out, and a single. Brooke Smith in the 9 spot, the only Georgia Bulldog to not reach last night, but she had a sac fly in the first inning that scored a run. So a productive at bat, even if not getting on base. .68 miles an hour chased after that one. That thing stung on the glove.
yeah, that was move. It was definitely spinning a lot, and she's recognizing that she's not getting that low stuff called for a strike. So she's got to work those spinny pitches up a little bit more.
Ellison fouled Oppo towards the Missouri bullpen right field. .3-2 full count. Fouled away once again. The 3-2. That's going to be a tough play. That one a high bouncer, and that one's going to get passed up to Grove at short. Boy, just the way that thing bounced coming off the bat, that looked like it was going to be a tough one to get. And that made it quickly to the outfield grass before Updegrove could get there.
Yeah, something about Ellison is that she's going to do her job no matter what it takes, and she does just that, just getting that one into the ground, getting that one a bouncer through the middle of the infield.
Here's the catcher, Marissa Miller. Ellison in that 3 spot, getting aboard. Back-to-back hits in consecutive games. Miller had an RBI fielder's choice last night in that first inning. But quiet from there, struck out and grounded out. Behind quickly here, 0-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. First strikeout of the afternoon for Marissa McCann. That'll strand a runner at first. 1 inning complete here in Athens. United this weekend with the SEC 6th annual All for Alex weekend, honoring the legacy of Mississippi State's Alex Wilcox. Wilcox, a member of the 2018 Mississippi State softball team, as she fought ovarian cancer but passed away that summer. And every team in the SEC this afternoon and playing today wearing teal, or teal highlights on those uniforms as part of a joint campaign with LSU head coach Beth Torina and Mississippi State head coach Samantha Ricketts as they work to raise awareness for ovarian cancer. And, of course, Georgia's auctioning off the jerseys here this afternoon as well, with all the proceeds going to the All for Alex Foundation. That one on the line. That's a single into right field. And the right fielder, Abby Carr, getting aboard here. As the leadoff hitter aboard here in the second for Mizzou.
Carr able to get extended in this opposite field and just poke it in there to get that base hit. Not having to do too much for it.
There's a bouncer to short. Fielded very shallow by Digby, was not going to be able to turn to. But gets the runner at first. Missouri now at second and in scoring position with one out.
Yeah, Digby with her veteran status knew that with her momentum coming forward, she wasn't going to be able to turn around and get that runner out in time. So she's able to still get that out at first. And now Missouri has a runner in scoring position. It's a great opportunity for them to get on the board here first after the loss last night.
I saw Mizzou's sports information director for the game told me, it's bounce back Saturday for Missouri. Today's a day you'd like to set up the rubber match for Sunday. You don't want to be staring down the barrel of a sweep.
And especially with a team that's, a lot of them are so young, you need a win today to kind of feel like you have a lot of fight left in that third game as well.
That was one thing we talked with Larissa Anderson about over the week was she mentioned, Friday night you're going to see us really try to score early because this is a young group. It's a good momentum push for them. It helps give them a lot of confidence. Instead, we saw Georgia pour 5 runs on in the first inning last night. Here today, second inning, Mizzou bats showing a little bit of life here.
Yeah, that was something that Larissa Anderson really spoke highly about her team about, is how much kind of belief and fight they have, even when they have those moments like they did last night.
Claire Cahalan, the left fielder, only batted once last night before she got pinch hit for. It was a pop out to second. Pokes at this one and ends up being a fair ball, and a tough play there by Bailey Lindemuth. That was a slow roller. You don't know which way it's going to go. She ends up fielding it.
Yeah, you'll watch her right here. She's kind of staying on the foul territory side of that ball, thinking that it might have a chance to roll into foul territory, and in that case, batter would go back to the batter's box.
I think she is coming back to the batter's box here. That is Sophie Smith now standing in. So she was out at first base, and this one is popped up. And that's the third out of the inning. We will get some clarification on Cahalan's ground out there that ends the inning for Missouri, scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second. So Claire Cahalan looked like she had a infield single. But we'll go back and look at this one here. She's going to be called out for being out of the box. Watch that left foot. Comes across the chalk line. And so she'll be called out for being out of the box here.
Yeah, in that case, batter cannot step out of the box while making contact with that ball. Home plate umpire sees that immediately and does throw a hand out.
So what was a promising start to the inning, ends up leaving a runner at second base.
And those are the little things that will kill you, because you had some momentum in that, especially if she had not stepped out of the box in that scenario. All of a sudden, you have first and third situation with one out, and it looks like you're going to get on the board first.
That completely changed that inning offensively there for Mizzou. And now the flyout ends up being the third out of the inning. And what likely could have been a sac fly situation to score a run. Here's Gabby Novickis. Two and two the count. Fouled back into the net. Novickis, Natalie Ray, and Emily Digby for Georgia here in the second. Swung on and missed for strike three, and that's career strikeout 250 for Marissa McCann.
Next up, center fielder number 12, Natalie Ray.
Beautiful pitch on the outside half of the plate right there. Certainly moving enough to evade the bat of Gabby Novickis right there for a career milestone for McCann.
Yeah, 250 career strikeouts. How about that? Congratulations to her. Tails away outside and low 2-0 here to Natalie Ray, who had an RBI single. Got hit in the back last night as well. Came around to score.
She's probably feeling a little sore from that one.
That doesn't feel good. Even if it, we talk about, getting hit in the hand, foot. Those are dangerous areas to get hit with not a lot of padding, but still you take one between the shoulder blades. It doesn't feel great.
Yeah, it never feels great to be hit, regardless, I don't think.
Natalie Ray halfway out of the box there, taking ball 4.
Now coming to the plate, the shortstop number 22, Emily Digby.
As you see McCann there in the circle. Junior from Surprise, Arizona. Not a lot of transfers on this Missouri team.
Now, that's something that Larissa Anderson really prided herself on. As we spoke with her earlier this week, they recruit for culture, and they take a lot of pride in the fact that they don't utilize the transfer portal a lot to bring people in, and they don't have a lot of athletes transferring out.
There's the head coach of the Tigers looking on from the dugout. Foul back, Emily Digby here behind 0-2. RBI walk last night with the bases loaded, then doubled in the third. Hitting .382 here on the season. Fouls that one out of the stadium. Tight confines here at Jack Turner Stadium.
Especially with all of these fans trying to stay in the shade as much as possible.
For sure.
Everyone's packed underneath here, underneath at these grandstands.
There's a ground ball. This could be two. And Digby's going to leg it out at first base. So it'll be a fielder's choice, but a good job there to get the lead runner in, Natalie Ray.
Third baseman number 55, Bailey Linderby.
Digby with 2 strikes on her. Kind of pokes at that one, hits it off the end of the bat, straight up the middle, is able to avoid the double play, which is good. You always like to see that.
Bailey Lindemuth, the third baseman for Georgia. Had an RBI single in the third last night. High to Lindemuth, 1 and 2. Brooks Smith, the freshman for Georgia, waiting on deck. Pokes at this one into the stands, foul. Fan nearly had a hand on that one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a catch out there.
She had the beverage in one hand.
Yeah, you do have to save the beverage. That's for sure.
One day, crispy beverage. You got to make sure you can't spill. Popped on the infield. Coming over and making the catches up to Grove. Georgia will strand a runner at first. 2 in the books here in Athens. Here this afternoon, Georgia baseball playing over at Foley Field right now. Harry working double duty this afternoon.
Gotta show all the sports some love.
Marissa Anderson making her way out to the third base box, 8th season as the Missouri head coach. 5 NCAA tournament appearances with the Tigers. Got a competitive group this year. We mentioned youngest in the SEC, now 500 on the year 21 and 21, but have been playing much better ball the last 3 weeks. And first pitch will be a ground out for Madison up to Grove. And a quick first out here for Georgia and Addison Fisher. 8-9-1 for the Tigers here in the third. Here's Kaylee Linger. Linger batted in the 7 spot last night, went 0 for 2. Fouls this one off. 0 and 2 here to the center fielder.
Addison Fisher throwing a little bit harder than normal today. I feel like we normally see her throwing high 60s, no problem, but today she's consistently zipping them in there at 70, 71, 72.
Well hit to left. 2 steps shy of the warning track. Jaden Goodwin will pull it in, 2 away.
Back to the top of the order now for the Missouri Tigers, third baseman number 34, Addie Waits.
Turn the card over here for the second time through the lineup. Addie waits into foul territory and pulling it in. Here's the Georgia defense. And it is a quick 1-2-3 inning here for Addison Fisher. Saw Tony Baldwin there giving his squad a little pep talk here as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Tight one here on Saturday afternoon. What do you think that little conversation's about?
Getting on time with this pitcher and really seeing her movement while sticking. Tony's always telling the players to stick with their plan, stick with their process. And so ensuring that they do that, even though it's a tight game.
Tony Baldwin popping out of the Georgia dugout as he'll go over to third base. Quickly behind here, 0-2 is the freshman Brooke Smith, 300 on the season for the freshman from Brandon, Mississippi.
Something that McCann has really done well so far this game is getting ahead in the count early.
Got ahead in the count, but Smith driving that one back where it came from. And it's a leadoff single for Georgia offensively here in the third. Now you go top of the order.
Yeah, you're in a really good opportunity, top of the order right here. Turn this around, try to get some runs on the board. Starting with freshman Brooke Smith.
Mentioned kind of a quiet night for her last night. Had a sac fly RBI. So it wasn't all bad news for her, but freshman continuing to get comfortable here, getting some playing time in her debut campaign throughout the SEC. Here's Jaden Goodwin for the second time, grounded out. Takes a big swing at that one. 1-1 the count. Opposite field to left, tracking over is Cahalan. She'll pull it in. And that'll be the first out of the inning as Goodwin flies out.
Next up, the right fielder, number 7, Sarah.
One on and one out. Here's Sarah Gordon. Georgia right fielder flew out to right in the first inning. Last time through this top half of the order, opening the game in the first. Georgia had a 2-out single from Tyler Ellison before Marissa Miller struck out to end the inning. Georgia has sent 4 to the plate in both the first and second innings. Two hits here to this point for Georgia. A pair of singles. Missouri with a single in the second.
McCann working right here to get that off speed, that change up. Working well, 2 back-to-back.
Gordon pops this one up to shallow left center. Coming over is Linger from her spot in center field. She'll make the catch for the second out. Here's a McCann split here this afternoon. It's a good balls to strike split.
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned earlier, she's getting ahead in a lot of these counts, so she's throwing a lot of strikes, even if the Bulldogs are fouling off several balls after she gets ahead.
It's not changing anything for her.
It's a very different picture than what we saw last night in the ball to strike ratio than we saw last night.
I don't think we saw Sierra Harrison's best stuff last night.
Correct,
But
we did not.
She struggled with the strike zone. But we also didn't see the A game out of Randy Rolling on the opposite side for Georgia as well. I think it took both of them a bit to kind of grasp a little bit of a tighter strike zone and how they needed to attack.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier with that tighter strike zone and having to adjust. If you start trying to place the ball as a pitcher, you're likely going to lose some of the spin, some of the movement, and then balls are going to get hit more as they're more on the plate. They have to, because you have to work with that strike zone because those are your circumstances that day.
Yeah.
So it is I think we have a different game today because we have a different strike zone. We obviously have different pitchers, but a different strike zone today makes a whole lot of difference.
67 coming in there at Tyler Ellison. She'll pull a foul. The 1-2. Count even here for Ellison. Marissa Miller waits on deck. And Ellison patient here, has worked the count full 3-2. That one just foul. And nearly a catch by Waits there at third base.
Pulled pretty hard right there by Ellison. Tony Baldwin's trying to pop out of the way. But Waits did almost get a good glove on it.
Just a little bit of a delayed jump. Off the end of the bat into right field. Forrester is there. Leadoff single will be left at first. 3 innings complete here in a scoreless one in Athens. Mentioned the Tigers lost last night, dropping Missouri to 21-21. But playing in the SEC, you're going to have good competition every weekend, and Mizzou's played some good non-conference teams as well. Pretty good strength of schedule. RPI of 47. Has struggled against some of those better teams on the resume at 6-15 against the RPI top 50. But if they continue to play better, like they have here over the last 3 weeks, make a pretty good run here towards the end of the season. As long as you're above 500, I think any team in the SEC is going to be in the conversation to make the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely, and they've got to get some of these wins later in their SEC series. They have 2 more midweeks left. South Carolina next week and Arkansas, then Tennessee to round out their SEC conference games before the SEC tournament. So picking up some wins throughout those next few games and next few weekends is going to be super important in order for them to stay above 500 and have a shot at making the tournament.
In the dirt, and the count moves 2-1. That one is to right field. And Gordon.
We've seen a lot of balls in the air today, and I think that speaks to the spin that we're seeing on both sides from both Fisher and McCann. We're seeing a lot of upspin today mixed in, and those are the balls that we're seeing those pop-ups on and those long balls on.
Stefania Abrascato will fly out to right. It's 2, 3, and 4 for the Tigers here in the fourth. And Abby Hay, who grounded out in the first inning. Hard hit once again to second. And it's back-to-back ground outs to second here for Hay, and that's 2 down.
Now batting, designated player number 28, Abby Carr.
Here's Abby Carr. Trying to get a call there, couldn't do it. 1-1 the count. Addison Fisher. This one really well hit to center, and that one going to bounce off the top of the wall, bobbled by Ray. It's going to roll in and get picked up by the shortstop, Digby. I think she's got second base either way, but that one kind of popping off the glove there off the top of the wall.
Yeah, it's not something we see often, but you're right. She would have gotten second either way, I think, with how hard that ball was hit. A really solid piece of hitting right there by Carr. But the angle that ball came off the wall, it popped right past Ray coming back into towards the infield.
That's our first extra base hit of the day for either team. Got a pinch runner at second base. That'll be Addie Kohler. So Kohler to run at second for Abby Carr. She's 2 for 2 on the day. Carr single and a double, and like I mentioned, our first extra base hit of either team today. As that one's going to bounce in the dirt. First one to Sydney Forrester. Count is 1-0. Forrester chases after that one. 1-1 the count. Doing 1 the count here to Forrester. She grounded out in the second. Looking for her first hit and first on-base appearance of the weekend. 2-1 here. To the Missouri right fielder ahead now, 3-1. Evens things up a bit here. Full count, 3-2. As Forrester chased after that one. 2 down, runner at second. And that one's going to come inside, and it'll be a 2-out walk. As Forrester takes first, Carr being pinch ran for at second base. First and second with 2 out. Marissa Anderson out of the dugout. We may be about to have a pinch hitter. That is going to be Sanaya Hill. And Georgia's going to use the opportunity to bring Chelsea Wilkinson, the pitching coach, out of the dugout and have a talk with Addison Fisher. Maybe a little strategy right here, 2 on, 2 out.
Yeah, we saw them bring Hill in last night to pinch hit as well, and so definitely some strategy around that. Perhaps a different mix of pitches than we've seen.
Hill pinch hit for Cahalan last night. In the same situation, second time through the lineup in the 4th inning. Reached on an error that was charged to the shortstop, Emily Digby.
And I think right here you also have to be ready for the small ball and the chance that they are going to try to sacrifice bunt to move those runners both into scoring position.
Swung on and missed there. Behind 0-1, now 0-2. This one out of the reach. Getting waved home is the pinch runner. Throw at the plates off the line. Sliding in safely is Kohler. And she'll plate the game's first run as the Tigers have their first lead of the weekend. It's 1-0 Missouri.
Larissa Anderson putting Hill in for a pinch hit for a reason. She's able to take this one opposite field. Great effort right there by Brooke Smith to try to get that ball. A hard throw by Sarah Gordon, but ultimately offline, not quite able to get that out.
Here's Sophie Smith. So Sanaya Hill doing her job both days, reaching last night. There's a liner bouncer to the shortstop. Toss over to first for the out. Smith is retired. But the Tigers with the first run of the afternoon. It's 1-0 Missouri as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Them to get on the board first, but I'm really loving the resilience and the fight they're showing so far in this game to come back from a run rule loss in the SEC.
That's a hard hit first pitch here by Marissa Miller, but right on a button to Smith. And that'll be the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Gabby Novickis. So Carr will move back to the DP spot. And Addie Kohler, who pinch ran for Abby Carr, will now go to right field. This one is popped up. And it is the left fielder, Cahalan, bringing it in. Quick 2 outs here for Missouri and Marissa McCann.
Yeah, especially with two quick outs right here. We want to see McCann just continue on, get that third quick out, not linger any, not give up any free passes, because Georgia will take advantage of free passes.
Natalie Ray is going to be 2 up here for Georgia, and Tony Baldwin asking for time. He's going to talk with his hitter here with 2 down. Quick conversation. Plate umpire Jose Shapiro saying, let's play a little ball here. Rick Cowan is at first base here this afternoon, and Christina Drum, who called our balls and strikes last night, is over at third. Squaring to bunt was Ray, but pulled it back up here, 1-0 the count. 2 strikeouts on the day for McCann. Grounded foul. She's been really effective through 3 2/3. 2-hit ball, was walked 1, struck out the 2. Meanwhile, Ray reached in her previous plate appearance back in the 2nd inning. Just going to miss 2-1. Grounded back to the pitcher. That one's going to sneak just past the glove of McCann, and that's going to be a tough play to make at first. And Abby Hay immediately asking for a challenge at first base. As Natalie Ray is ruled safe. That one just past the outreach glove of McCann. It was a quick play by Smith to turn and throw.
Yeah, it was quick hit ball. Gets up the middle. Smith tries to make that play on the run, is ultimately not able to get it there in time.
And Hay asked for the challenge, not granted by the coaching staff, and this one's going to go back up the middle, back-to-back singles here for Georgia. And you saw in the replay, she beat it out by about a step. So Emily Digby jumping on the first one. First and second here with 2 out, and now Marissa Anderson's going to come out of the dugout and talk with her pitcher. As Georgia trying to get something going here with 2 outs.
So earlier we saw Tony Baldwin call time, talk to his batter after 2 quick outs. I almost think that was a little bit of breaking up some momentum that McCann had from those 2 quick outs. And then you see that she's given up 2 hits in this immediately after. And so I think this is a little bit of a trying to break up momentum. It's a back and forth.
Well, that's something that Marissa Anderson talked about earlier this week. Came within the game, and how that young team, that's a big adjustment to go from travel ball, high school ball, to D1 SEC level play. And the coaches are going to do everything they can to get a win for their team. This one a grounder, and it's going to get held in the infield there as Waits diving for it at third base. And when she went to the ground, was going to have a hard time getting it up. Ray able to go safely second to third. Everybody's safe, and they're loaded with 2 down.
So we'll see it again right here. This ball, I think Updegrove still has this ball. It's not going to get through the infield if Waits does not get that right there and stop that. But I don't think there's necessarily a play there anyway. I think we're still sitting here in a bases loaded situation. A big opportunity for a freshman in Brooke Smith.
About to say, boy, the 9 spot coming up big right here, and Tony Baldwin coming out and talking with our home plate umpire. I think he's going to make a pinch run move here at second base. And it's going to be Natalie Donaldson out of the dugout to run at second base now for Digby. Donaldson, a fellow freshman from DeWitt, Michigan. So Brooke Smith, a freshman, 1-0 count to her. And as a freshman, I know you're just chomping at the bit to want to get a hold of something, but you're going to have a patient eye right here to make sure you're waiting on something you want to hit.
Yeah, you still have to be super patient right here. There's probably a lot of adrenaline going through her veins right now.
Little bloop to center. That one into the glove of Linger. So Georgia makes a bunch of noise here in the third. We'll leave them loaded as 4 innings are complete. We head to the 5th in a 1-0 game. 4 innings complete as we go to the 5th inning. Our pitcher comparison here this afternoon, just 8 combined hits. Georgia with 3 of those hits there in the bottom of the 4th. It is definitely a pitcher's duel here this afternoon.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with what we're seeing from both Fisher and McCann. We're seeing a variety of pitches from each of them. They're working their stuff, trying to work that off speed to keep their faster pitches working better and being more effective in that.
Eight, 9, and 1 for the Tigers here in the 5th. As Missouri leads 1-0 on 3 hits, no errors, has left 3. Here's going to be hit number 4 of the afternoon. That one's going to roll one step away from the wall. The throw to second will be cut off. And it's a leadoff double here for Madison up to Grove. That's a good way to get it started here in the 5th.
Yeah, that ball was kind of hit in no man's land, which allowed her to get that extra base right there. She takes it, one on the outside corner, is able to punch it into left center. And if that ball had been a little bit more left or a little bit more right, I think you cut that off and she doesn't get that extra base there.
Yeah. So run on 4 hits now for the Tigers. Tigers have left 3 coming into the inning. Georgia, no score. 5 hits, no errors, have left 6 this afternoon. 3 of those coming in the bottom of the inning there previously. There's a ground ball, look the runner back to second. It ends up being a little bit of a close play at first base, as Lindenmuth had to make sure that runner didn't want to come her way.
Yeah, she did a little double pump there to make sure that Up to Grove was going to stay at second. You'll see it again there. But with her arm, she's able to get that one over there for the out.
Top of the order now for the Tigers and Addie Waits, who's 0 for 2 on the day. But ahead here 3-0.
Digby showing her leadership right there, calling time, going and talking to her pitcher. Settling her down a little bit. We haven't seen that this game where she's gone 3-0 pretty quick, so taking a second to let her breathe, probably.
Big moment right here in this game with this runner aboard and 1 out. And Waits is going to walk on 4 straight. Be the 3rd time that Waits has reached this weekend. She walked twice last night. And her 3rd walk of the weekend puts them at 1st and 2nd with just 1 out. One and 1 the count here to Stefania Bruscato. Has not reached this weekend. 0 for 3 last night. 0 for 2 here to this point today with a strikeout and a fly ball.
I do think that she's really due up when we spoke with Larissa Anderson earlier this week, she spoke about Abrascato.
Well, you mentioned due up when that one's going to go to right field. And Missouri's going to have them loaded here in the 5th with 1 out.
Back-to-back bases loaded situations.
Updegrove at 3rd, Waits now at 2nd. And it's a single for Abrascato, due as you mentioned.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is that she's really, Larissa Anderson spoke about her, is that she's really stepped into kind of a leadership position and has improved throughout the season and is really kind of playing to her full potential now. She's stepped into a leader position, you know, behind the plate as well. So it shows right there.
So a big moment here for Abby Hay, the first baseman. One and one here to the Mizzou first baseman. A pair of ground outs here this afternoon. Count 1 and 2 here to Hay. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And that's a big second out for Addison Fisher.
Addison Fisher coming in clutch with that drop ball on the inside corner. She's someone who's been in this situation before, even though she's only a sophomore. I feel like she's got the veteran experience.
And Georgia's going to go to the bullpen here with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And we will reset with the pitching change. Georgia goes to the bullpen here, and it'll be number 44, Presley Harrison, the freshman from Baxley, out of the pen. A 3-0 mark on the season with a 3.71 ERA. This will be the 19th appearance of the season.
We'll see her throwing high 60s right here. She's got really good vertical separation.
This one is popped, and that one's just fair. That one's going to drop in. 1 run's going to score. A second comes across behind. And the Tigers will play to pair on a little drop single to right field. And I was just about to say the freshman's inheriting a pretty tricky situation in the first pitch.
Yeah, that is a really tough situation to come into. But a good piece of hitting right there by Carr to score 2 runs, get her team some more traction on the board.
So Waits and Updegrove both score. Abrascato is now at 3rd, so they're on the corners with 2 outs. And here's Sydney Forrester, the designated player. And a little bit more breathing room here for Marissa McCann as the Tigers now lead 3-0 here in the 5th. One and one the count. That one comes inside. 2-1 the count to Forrester. Still a big opportunity here for the Tigers with them on the corners. They'd at least like to get that runner at 3rd to come across. Well hit. This one's going to drop in left for a base hit. Throw is cut off. Carr will be standing at 3rd. Abrascato will score easily. And an RBI single for the designated player, Sydney Forrester.
Forster able to punch that ball into no man's land. A little bit of it got some air on it, but she's able to punch it into no man's land and therefore score another run for her team.
And we're going to have a pinch runner at first base here for Forrester. It'll be Danielle Blackstone, a junior from O'Fallon, Missouri. So they remain on the corners here. And we are going to have another pinch hitter. And it'll be the freshman Lenny Ramsey.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now batting, pinch hitter number 24, Lenny Ramsey.
280 as a freshman. From Dearborn, Michigan. It's been a big inning for the Tigers here. Plating 3. Georgia does have an arm up in the bullpen. Harrison coming back with a strike. Two and one the count here to Ramsey. Freshman on freshman here. She'll go around on that one, and that'll be the strikeout to end the inning. But the Missouri Tigers played 3 runs here in the top half of the 5th and extend the lead 4-0 as we go to the bottom half. Given up 5 hits, but they've all been singles. Nothing that can really hurt. And the defense has done its job when needed. And that one will get past the first baseman, Hay. And the speedy Jaden Goodwin to first base. If Georgia's going to do anything, this may be the best opportunity in the game here in the 5th, as it's top of the order due up for the Dogs the 3rd time.
Yeah, Goodwin doing her job, getting on base right here, able to just pull that ball hard right past Hay at first and leg it out. But now we have a runner on, Sarah Gordon up to bat. Then you follow Ellison Miller, Navigas. You've got a really good slate right here.
Here's Sarah Gordon behind 0-1. We know Georgia can certainly score in bunches. Scored 5 in the first inning yesterday. A couple more defensive changes for the Tigers. Lenny Ramsey, who pinch hit there for Cahalan, will now play left field for her. And Blackstone, who pinch ran, will now play right field. This one popped back towards us. So 3 different right fielders here defensively this afternoon for the Tigers. And now the second left fielder of the day. Two and 2. That one pulled, foul.
Sarah Gordon doing a good job taking this at-bat really deep into account. Making McCann throw more pitches is always good as you get later in the game.
That's pitch 79 of the contest. It will miss. So the first two batters are aboard here in the fifth. The single from Goodwin, the walk by Gordon, that'll bring up the designated player, Tyler Ellison.
Now coming to the plate, the designated player number 4, Tyler Ellison.
Wilson will get into the box here. 2 on, nobody out. Back-to-back balls. You do wonder a little bit about McCann at some point, just the sharpness maybe starting to dull a little bit. I kind of wonder if Larissa Anderson's seeing the same thing. We'll come out and give her pitcher a arm around the back and a little word of encouragement here.
Yeah, we've seen McCann throughout this game, especially early in the game, work ahead a lot and get quick strikes on the Georgia batters. As you see her ball to strike ratio in the top left corner, but we've seen this inning, she's getting behind a little bit more.
There is a pitcher up in the Missouri bullpen. Turner Stadium home crowd starting to cheer on Georgia. Now 3-0 here to Ellison. That one comes high, and they're going to be loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, that was a close pitch that we just saw from McCann. I thought it was a really competitive pitch right here. Little higher than the belt, but I mean, I'd be interested to know where that missed from the umpire's perspective.
McCann has pulled the mask off. She knows her afternoon's about to be finished. Missouri's going to fling the bullpen gate open and bring a new arm in here to the game. And what a performance by Marissa McCann. Georgia 6 hits, but all singles. And scoreless into the 5th inning. And she's going to hand the ball off to Abby Carr. And we'll reset with the pitching change. Pitcher for the Missouri Tigers, it'll be the freshman Abby Carr. A Wildwood, Missouri product. 2.35 ERA on the season. She's 4-3. This will be appearance 23 for her.
Freshman Abby Carr, she's going to be throwing upper 60s. She's got a backdoor curveball, a changeup that she is really her go-to, and she can sneak in a rise every now and then. But I mean, going back to that changeup, she is a changeup specialist.
Here's the catcher, Marissa Miller. They're loaded with nobody out. Georgia's best opportunity of the day. And a big moment for a freshman.
A freshman that's been in this situation before, though. She's been in these relief positions where there's a lot of pressure on. She's somewhat of a bullpen weapon almost for this Missouri Tigers team.
And you see why Carr listed in the starting lineup as the right fielder. Forster right behind her as the DP. They make that flip immediately at the start of the game because that gives them so many opportunities to make defensive changes and get Carr out of the bullpen. But now behind 3-0. Miller taking there on the 3-0. Miller will poke at that one and knock it foul. Full count. Miller 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout and a ground out. Here's the 3-2. And that'll be a bases loaded walk. That's happened on back-to-back days for the Missouri pitching staff. Georgia will get its first run of the day as Goodwin walks across from third. And Georgia on the scoreboard now in the fifth. It's 4-1.
Yeah, we've talked about Georgia taking advantage of free passes. Typically doesn't come in the form of a run, but in this case and yesterday it has.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now running at first base to the Georgia Bulldogs, number 1, Delaney Sullivan.
And Delaney Sullivan will run at first base for the catcher, Miller.
Up next, first baseman, number 32.
And here's the first baseman, Gabby Novickus. Well, check swing, she'll pull the bat back. In there for a strike. Novickus 0 for 2 on the day. Strikeout and a fly ball. Now with Georgia picking up the run. Base is loaded right here. One swing of the bat could give Georgia the lead. The 1-1's going to get fouled back out of play, 1-2.
Yeah, as you referenced, a big situation right here. But Larissa Anderson spoke about Carr as a true competitor. She's got ice in her veins, so she's going to figure out how to get the job done right here, no matter what.
Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And a big out here for Abby Carr.
Now coming to base number 12, Natalie.
Pitch right here. That rise ball. Just evading the bat.
One out here for the center fielder, Abby Ray. And Carr coming back with the first pitch strike here. Single to walk here for Ray. Been one of the more productive hitters for Georgia this afternoon in a 6-hit performance for the Bulldogs. And the freshman Carr taking her time, making sure she's got the pitch she wants here. The 1-2 swung on and missed as Ray out in front of that one. And there's 2 down. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Abby Carr.
Yeah, definitely getting the job done. As I mentioned earlier, she's a competitor. She's got ice in her veins. She's going to do what it takes, and this changeup absolutely is what it takes.
Still juiced with Bulldogs here in the 5th. And here's Emily Digby. Abrascato, the catcher, asking for an appeal there at third base. Christina Drum saying no swing, 1-0 the count. Sarah Gordon at third, Tyler Ellison at second, and the pitch running Delaney Sullivan at first base. 3-0 the count. Digby has reached both times today on a fielder's choice and then a single back in the 4th inning. And it's going to be another bases loaded walk. Both Georgia runs here in the inning coming via walk. So Gordon will score from third, move everybody up.
Now batting third baseman number 55, Bailey Lindemuth.
And here is the 8-hitter Bailey Lindemuth. Georgia sent 8 to the plate here in the 5th. And a first pitch strike here from Carr, 0-1. Lindemuth is 1 for 2 on the day. Singled back in the 4th. Now behind here, 0-2. Outside half, 1-2. Methodical appearance here to this point for Carr. Here's a bouncer, and that'll get the out at first base. But Georgia will score 2 here in the inning, both via walks. We are through 5 innings in Athens. It's 4-2 Missouri as we head to the 6th. 10 within scoring position, 4 for 9 with 2 outs. And I think that's really been the difference in the game to this point. Missouri only out hitting Georgia by 1, 7-6. But runners on, Missouri 4 for 11. Georgia just 2 for 12 with runners on here this afternoon, and just 1 for 5 when they're in scoring position. So Missouri situationally has done a much better job here this afternoon.
Which when we spoke with Larissa Anderson, she told us, like, that's what they're trying to do. They know they're not going to outpower the other team with the long ball. So just having that situational hitting, passing the bat, doing the small things right is going to be the difference maker.
Bottom of the lineup here for the Tigers in the 6, 7, 8, and 9. As the second baseman, Sophie Smith. Presley Harrison now on for a clean inning to get things started. Came on with 2 outs in the 5th. And the first pitch to Abby Carr was sent to right field to play 2. This one's popped up, will stay in the infield. And Bailey Lindemuth will make the catch, 1 away.
Next up, the shortstop number 24, Madison Updegrove.
Madison Updegrove here with 1 away. One for 2 on the afternoon. She doubled and scored in the 5th. That was a 3-run 5th inning for the Tigers. That has really been the difference this afternoon. Georgia then answered back with 2 in the bottom half of the 5th, both via walks with the bases loaded. the count 2-0 here to the Missouri shortstop. This one well hit, back up the middle. That one will leap into the outfield grass. And back-to-back at-bats with hits here for Madison Updegrove. Double and a single for her today. 1 on and 1 out. I believe we're going to get a pinch hitter here. Kaylee Linger, the center fielder, was due up. And it'll be Gracie Britton, the freshman from Ashland, Missouri. Britton came in and caught last night defensively. .333 average on the season for the freshman. The 1-0 is sent back up the middle from whence it came. And it'll be first and second with 1 out, and now top of the order due up for Mizzou.
Britton doing her job as a pinch hitter right here, is able to take that ball, drive it up the middle, and put a runner in scoring position for Mizzou.
And Tony Baldwin has emerged from the dugout. We're going to have a pitching change. It'll be the third pitcher of the afternoon here for Georgia. And that'll do it for Harrison here for the moment. As Tony Baldwin letting him know who he wants to come into the game. We'll reset with it here. Georgetown, Kentucky's own Ada Little, the 5'10" freshman, onto the game here for Georgia. And in SEC play, she's got the best ERA of anybody on the Georgia staff. In conference games alone, a 183 ERA on the season, a 469 for the freshman.
Yeah, back-to-back freshmen. We're going to see Ada Little throwing high 60, 68, 66 to 68. She's going to throw a drop, curve, rise, and change. But her bread and butter is going to be that drop and that curve combo.
It'll be top of the order due up here, 1 out. But runners at first and second. And Addie Waits will be due up. It'll be a lefty on lefty matchup here for Ada Little, who has reached once on a walk. 3 times on the weekend, all by walks. Looking for the first time she's been able to put the ball into play and reach on her own. Outside, and a good stop by Miller. Two and 1 the count, and we should mention Gracie Britton hitting in that prior at bat during the pitching change. Kaylee Linger came out and took her spot back in the lineup, so she's now running for her spot at first base after letting Britton pinch hit. Here's the 3-1. In there for a strike, count full.
This is a big situation for a freshman to be in. And so it's a good job by Ada Little to work back from that count. She was down 3-0, working back.
3-2 is popped up, going to stay in the infield dirt. And boy, Miller, with that catcher's gear, you have a hard time finding where that ball is. A heads-up play by Little to come in and get it.
Yeah, really good job by Little, and definitely heads-up play. We'll see it again right here. Not often that you see a pitcher coming to get that fly ball. Oftentimes, defensively, you don't have the pitcher do that, but she's able to see that Miller's not going to be able to get that. She doesn't have the right angle on it, and so Ada Little comes in, makes that play for her team.
A big second out with runners at first and second. Here's Stefania Abriscato. Abriscato got her first hit of the weekend in her last at bat, a single. She came around to score. Fouls this one away, counts 1-1. 1-1. High and away, 2-1. They'll say she didn't go. 3-1.
Thought that was a close pitch regardless.
Tony Baldwin out of the dugout barking at Jose Chaparro.
Getting fired up.
3-1 the count. That's going to go outside, and they'll be loaded here with 2 away.
Now batting, first baseman number 36, Abby Hay.
And we have time as Abby Hay is due up here with 2 out. A little chat here as Miller comes out from behind the plate to talk with her pitcher.
Yeah, being a real leader right there, taking the initiative to go out there, help Little settle down. A lot of times your catcher can see something that you may not be able to feel in your pitches, and so that might be a little moment of that, of, hey, you're coming around yourself, or you're not getting traction on the ground.
Been a quiet weekend for Hay, been a quiet day for her, 0 for 3. Back in there for a strike, 1-1. Two and one the count here to Hay. Legacy at the University of Missouri. Her father, John, played baseball for the Tigers. Mom, Amy, golfer. 2-1, that one on a line to Ray, and Georgia will get out of the jam here in the 6th. Home team trailing by 2 as we go to the bottom half. This young Tiger squad has been involved in a bunch of close ones this season, but 21-1 when leading after 6 innings. We're in the 6th inning. Georgia to bat here in the bottom half of the inning. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Dogs, and it's a young team, been a scrappy team all year, but give them a lead, they tend to hang on and get the job done.
Yeah, we spoke about early trying to get runs on the board early in the game. They didn't do that super early, but they were the first to get the run on the board this game.
It'll be the freshman Brooke Smith, who got a single back in the 3rd. She's 1 for 2 on the day. That one will bounce in the dirt. 1-0 the count. Abby Carr did a really good job there in the 5th inning, came in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Gave up 2, but you know, with a young team, it's a rise ball team, struggled to find the strike zone a little bit on some of those batters. And that's one thing that Larissa Anderson talked to us about earlier this week. She knows this squad's going to give a run or 2 up. Just make it 1, 2 runs. Don't let it be a 3 and 4 run swing.
Correct, and they didn't with that, you know, bases loaded situation we talked about. One swing could have been a grand slam, could have given Georgia the lead, but they did not give them that satisfaction. They only let them have 2.
Smith fouls this one out of play. Freshman getting some at-bats here the last few games. Got her first start of the season Wednesday night against USC Upstate. A perfect fielding percentage. Two and 2 the count now to Smith. Got Jaden Goodwin waiting on deck behind her. Line foul, still 2 and 2. Carr, a pretty methodical pitcher. Swing and a miss there for strike 3. Smith retired on strikes. Zipped that one in there at 66 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pitch right here. We'll see that screwball on the inside corner of the plate. Moving just under the bat of Brooke Smith.
Three strikeouts in relief here for Abby Carr, now top of the order. And we mentioned last inning, maybe Georgia's best opportunity here the remainder of the game, but Georgia sending 8 to the plate there in the 5th, gets the top of the order once again here in the 6th. So I say maybe one more time, this could be the best opportunity for Georgia the remainder of the way, getting the top of the order with 1 out. Popped up, it will bounce off the top of the Georgia dugout. Still sitting up there. One and 2 the count. Jaden Goodwin 1 for 3 on the day with a single back in the 5th. Swung on and missed, and they'll throw her out at first base for good measure, 2 down.
I mentioned earlier that Carr is the changeup specialist, but we've seen it time and time again. That changeup just keeps fooling the Georgia batters. Beautiful, it just floats right in there. You cannot tell it's coming.
2 down at the bases, empty for Sarah Gordon. Oh for 2 with a walk. She walked in the 5th and was one of 2 runs that got walked in for Georgia. One sent to right center. That ball off the top of the wall. Turning as Gordon. The throw is going to be off the marks. And Sarah Gordon into scoring position with 1 swing of the bat. It's a 2-out double for the Georgia right fielder. And now you get Tyler Ellison to the plate.
Yeah, Sarah Gordon firing her team up. She's able to take this ball opposite field. Almost a home run, about a foot maybe from the top of that wall. In scoring position now for Ellison, who's been just such a consistent player and offensive player, especially for the Bulldogs.
It's a DP. That's a bat you keep in the lineup. She got a single back in the first. Walked in the fifth. And got stranded at third base. But behind here, 0-2.
Something we do know about Ellison is that she is a patient hitter. She will wait for her pitch. And if that means getting behind in the count, she'll do so.
All of her at-bats today, she's seen 3 balls. 2 of them were full count. 3-2 pitches she kept fouling off, walked on a 3-0 count in the fifth. Patient eye there, 2-2. Two swung on and missed for strike 3. The double will be left there. And Ellison strikes out. And that will be strikeout number 5 for Abby Carr here on the afternoon. We head to the 7th, Georgia trailing by 2. Ada Little about to take a look at the pitcher, Abby Carr, coming to bat here. Entering the day, just impressive numbers for Abby Carr. Team lead in ERA and home runs. And Carr is 3 for 3 at the plate here this afternoon. A pair of singles, a double that she scored on, and on that last single drove in 2.
Freshman of the week just a week ago. But a two-way player, which you don't see in the SEC a ton.
No.
Someone that's pitching and hitting. A lot of times coaches want you to just focus on one or the other, but Abby Carr has taken on the battle of both.
That'll be the first time she is retired out today. As she grounds out to Gabby Novikas at first base.
Now batting, number 0, Sydney Forrester.
One away here for Sydney Forrester. In the part of the lineup that did a lot of damage to Georgia back in the 5th. Mentioned Carr, the 2-run single. Forrester with a RBI single. That's where all the runs came from in the 5th. Off of those 2 bats. Georgia plating 2 in the bottom of the 5th. That one's going to come inside. 2-0 the count, and three and 0 here to Forrester, and of course, for the second straight day, our SEC Network crew doing an outstanding job, bringing all the sights and sounds here from Athens as Sydney Forrester will walk with 1 out. And we're going to have Lenny Ramsey pinch hit once again.
Missouri Tigers are going to do whatever it takes to take advantage of that free pass they were just given in a 4-pitch walk. try to get a little bit more padding maybe on this score.
Marissa Anderson out of the dugout talking with Jose Chaparro, and I believe we're going to have a pinch runner at first base. As Lenny Ramsey will bat for the second time. Or I thought we were going to have a pinch runner. Looks like there was somebody coming out of the dugout, but it'll be Lenny Ramsey to bat once again here. Struck out in the fifth in her previous appearance. But our crew doing a great job here as always. Kendrick Montgomery, our low third camera here this afternoon. Granger Wang up here up top with us. Connor McDuffie on our first base cam. Ground ball to third, to second for one, and that'll be the only play as Ramsey aboard on a fielder's choice.
Could have been a really great double play right there. We'll see it again right here. Lindemuth able to make that play to second. That ball gets stuck kind of in the transition for Brooke Smith, so she's not able to finish that play at first.
Here's Sophie Smith, 0 for 3 on the day. Jaden Marvin, our center field cam, getting all the rays out there today on a cloudless afternoon in Athens. And Javi Gonzalez, our low first base cam, here this afternoon. There will be some tan lines after this one.
No kidding.
1-1. This is a slow grounder to third. And Smith is retired on the 5-3. Georgia down to its final 3 outs. Tigers trying to tie the series here this afternoon.
From her fast stuff. Really impressive outing so far.
See her numbers in the circle. Of course, in the starting lineup here this afternoon, got flipped to the DP spot. 2 RBIs, a double, and 2 singles. So she has been effective regardless of where she's been out on the field. So Georgia down to its final 3 outs. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, and it'll be 4, 5, and 6 in the Georgia lineup in the 7th, and Marissa Miller, the catcher, to lead things off. Comes right back with another strike, 0-2. Miller 0 for 2 with a RBI walk this afternoon. She was the first batter to see Abby Carr, and Carr walked her on a 3-2 that drove in the first run of the game for Georgia. Inside. We thanked our crew here at Jack Turner Stadium, our control room, getting it done today here this as well. Amelia Kennedy, the TD, assistant Aaron Johnson, Spencer Strickland on video, Connor McKay working our graphics for you here this afternoon as the 1-2 bounced right back to Abby Carr, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Madison Hawthorne on the bug this afternoon. Noah Hicks and Connor Bilbo bringing you replays this afternoon. Evan Wall saving the day yesterday, getting our audio issues straightened out. Beth Ann Nieblet, our director. Bryson Wright, our producer this afternoon. As the first one is sent into the Missouri dugout off the bat of Gabby Novickas. So as things stand, Missouri looking to even the series here this afternoon. It'll be a rubber match tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, it'll make for a really good Sunday. It's going to be beautiful weather again. It'll be all hands on deck in terms of pitching staffs.
Here's a liner and dropped by the first baseman, Hay. Well, she had to shuffle the feet quickly to get there and nearly had it.
You know she's mad at herself right now about that one. We'll see it again right here.
They're in time.
Yeah, they're in time. Almost just misses the mitt of the glove.
That would have been a spectacular catch. Instead, ends up just being a exciting strike.
Yeah.
1-2 the count here to Novickus. That one fouled back. 1-2 remains the count. Natalie Ray waits on deck for Georgia. The ball strike split there on Abby Carr. Fouled back into the net once again. A good battle here for Novickus. "51 pitches now in relief for Carr. Right back up the middle and through for a base hit. It'll be a one-out single for Gabby Novickus. And here's Tony Baldwin to talk with his center fielder. We'll have a pinch runner at first base. And it'll be the sophomore Molly Mitchell to run on her birthday. So happy birthday to the Georgia sophomore from Austin, Texas.
Now coming to the plate, the center fielder, number 12, Natalie Ray.
Oh, look at that, enjoying a little birthday swag here before the game.
Cute.
She'll get set to run here as Ray gets in the box. Righty on lefty matchup. That one in there for a strike. That one out in front, lightly hit. It'll be a run to the bases and sliding in underneath. The throw to third is not in time. They'll be on first and third with one away. Boy, Hay had to run back to the bag, and how about Natalie Ray sliding in underneath her?
What a play right here. Natalie Ray gets on top of that ball. Hay has to come back and get the tag. Ray does a feet first slide into first.
Ooh, it's going to be close.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one.
Christina Drum.
Because her feet almost pop up.
Yeah. Looks like she kind of comes up off the bag
Yeah,
there.
and there's a period of time where she's not touching the bag at all.
And the tag is there
Yeah,
by that point. I think the foot beat the tag, but then the foot's off the base.
Agreed.
Get a tighter look at it there.
Yeah, I think foot's there to start, but then that foot pops up. And you hear the Georgia crowd cheering, but it might be overturned because of that foot popping up.
I mean, you have challenged all day. I'd absolutely throw one here because that's a massive outcome. I think the big thing is the fact that it was called safe at first. Going to have to overturn it. if it remains, you're going to have first and third with one out.
You also just don't have this kind of play at first
No.
often, so it's an odd situation.
I mean, you see your Ray going to first. You see Hake coming at you with the tag. You just go cleats up. I'm sliding in. The interesting thing, you just read body language. You read body language. Hay never made like an argument as if she thought that she had gotten her out. Now, she takes a pretty good spill here, and it took her a minute to kind of get up and compose herself. But the heads-up base running, though, by Novickis, getting to second, seeing that the tag, she falls down, hustling her way to third, able to slide in. Again, that was Mitchell, the pinch runner. So you see why Tony Baldwin brings the pinch runner in. And we're going to have a...
After further review, the call on the field of safe is confirmed. It is Missouri's first challenge. They have one remaining.
So a safe call at first is confirmed. Christina Drum with a little bit of a dramatic
Made
announcement
us wait
there.
for that.
So Mitchell at third. Ray at first. They're on the corners with one out. And here's Emily Digby.
Digby is someone she's consistently sits in that 7 spot, but she is someone that is so consistent even later in the lineup for the Bulldogs. So this is, I think, a good position to be in right here, first and third. These two runners aboard could tie you up.
The walk-off winning run now standing at the plate. .385 on the season for Digby. She's 1 for 2 on the day. Has reached in all 3 plate appearances, fielder's choice single, and an RBI walk. Way out in front of that one, and may have gotten a piece of it there, as well as Natalie Ray had made it to second, but she'll retreat and come back to first. One and two, the count here to Emily Digby. This one is going to be caught out in left field. Heck of a catch out there. Georgia will score a run, but how about Ramsey sliding in and making the grab? If that thing gets to the fence, it is big trouble.
Yeah, if that thing gets to the fence, you all of a sudden, you might have a tied game here, honestly, because they were both going for that. But a heck of a catch by Ramsey right here. She covers a lot of ground, and I wasn't sure if she was going to make it there, but she made it there. And that is a game-changing catch for Mizzou right here.
Mitchell will score to pull Georgia within 1. And because that's caught, even if she had not scored, you're going to have Natalie Ray probably at third base. Instead, she's still at first. So for her to score here, Bailey Lindemuth's going to have to really put one deep into play. And a good stop there by the Tiger catcher as Abrascato quickly up with that ball and going to hold Natalie Ray at first. One and one the count. Two and one. Grounded foul. And now Tigers one pitch away from evening these series up.
Really, you're one pitch away from winning the game, or you're one
Yeah.
pitch away from losing right here.
And life in the SEC.
Yeah, this is
The
true.
margins are really thin.
They're tight.
Deuce is wild here in the 7th.
Good job right here by Lindemuth to stay alive in this at bat, fouling off those pitches.
Georgia was down 4-0. Has continued to rally back, and they'll say she went around at first base. Rick Cowan will say the check swing went, and the Tigers are going to win here on Saturday afternoon by a final score of 4-3 and have evened the series at 1-1 and set up a rubber match tomorrow afternoon. Phenomenal game here today.
Yeah, absolutely great game right here. And great job by Carr for coming in a tough situation as a freshman and really getting the job done.
And as always, go Dogs!
You know they're fired up after having that loss last night. They showed real resilience in coming back today and getting this win against the Bulldogs and setting us up for a rubber match tomorrow.
4-3 our final here this afternoon. It was an outstanding softball game this afternoon. Evens the series up at 1-1, sets up a rubber game. 2 Eastern on Sunday right here on the SEC Network. For our entire SEC Network crew, thanks for bringing us a beautiful one here in Athens, Georgia this afternoon. For our entire crew, Mary Wilson, this is Caleb. So long from Athens. Tigers a winner, 4-3. We'll see you Sunday afternoon at 2.